company or your school, depending on how you're going to. Okay, got it. Thank you. Let me know if the sound works now. The company or school, depending on how you want to go to Japan. Going there for work, you essentially have to be declared a expert in your field, which usually translates to about a 4-year degree that roughly relates to the job you're gonna get in Japan. And that's the most difficult part. However, as far as finding an apartment in Japan, is getting settled within the local community, all that was very easy for me and actually very thrilling. One of the oddly most difficult parts was stuff like sorting the recycling, sorting the trash, and small things like that. But aside from the visa, it was very easy, very affordable. Cost of living all throughout Japan is so affordable compared to anywhere in the States so far, especially Los Angeles. Above and beyond that is something that makes me happy. VXIS 101 says there. Yes, hey, thank you so much. I'm so glad. It means a ton to me. Very, very happy. And cool. Looks like this interface is working out well. I can switch across the streams. Wonderful. Refreshing the comments now. Thank you all for your patience. If I miss your comment or question, don't hesitate to ask twice, you know? Baby, thanks for the gifts. 2 roses. I love that. I can't wait, you say. Hey, I'm excited for you too. I still remember just like the projection I had of moving to Japan before I moved to Japan in the first place and how much more fantastic it was once I actually moved there. Of course, you know, I'm not going to gloss over all the difficulties. Learning the language was a mission and a half, a lot of hard work. And then the cultural barriers between like socializing, it can be frustrating too. And then culture shock like that can really lead to some sense of isolation once you are there. I'll get into those in some videos soon. Topics like those, I think, really require a lot of context. It's hard to get into them in like a 2 to 3 minute video, but I will do so. Otherwise, they just come off as being like sensationalized, and they can be like almost manipulated into reasons why I don't think people should go check out other countries in Japan, which is the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do. So long story short, I'm gonna get into it, but I want to do it properly, you know? Narciso says, yo, what's up, Wes? Early live, exactly. I'm so glad you dropped by. Cheers and thanks. I am going live earlier than I have been in recent, just ever for the most part. Basically just to a lot of the people I connect with on TikTok live would be on the East Coast of America, and right when I'm going live, usually they'll be like, ah, man, I just gotta go to bed, or it's, you know, approaching 1 a.m. here, and then everyone's got work in the morning. We'll see how this goes. John says, do you work? I do work. I'm a videographer for hospitality. I mainly do drone videos and videos for events, resorts, hotels, and such, wherever my agency sends me. Thanks for asking, John. You gotta know these things. Margarita, welcome back. Always a pleasure to see you here. As you know, says, hi, Wes. Always good to see ya. Cheers. I appreciate you. Taiwala, hey, 24 gifts. It's above and beyond appreciated. Baby, also 24 gifts. I gotta take a screenshot of this. Y'all's generosity helps me more than you know, helping me support my travels and social media agenda. So points. Baby Fox says, that's what we're waiting on. Oh, the visa, yeah. The visa was so difficult, especially with post-pandemic. Japanese embassy in Los Angeles was atrocious. Not their fault. They're just underfunded because no one needed to go to the embassy much during the pandemic. So that was a rough patch for me getting my visa sorted out. It even had me flying back and forth to LA and Japan to figure that out, but it all worked out. And if I can help anyone else with that process, even if it's for mental support because it's worth it, that's what I'm here for. Jiki Bay says, yo, whoa, you're wild. I do my very best. I hope you mean that in the most positive way. You legend. Adam says, but thanks for your amazing work. I recently want to visit Japan, so might hit you up for some tips. Absolutely. And doing photography and video work within the country of Japan, I think I would have some very specific tips, possibly for you going there for work or just whatever sort of photography you enjoy. My main photography has always been commercial, so I really enjoy portraits that focus on different fashions and such, but it's very exciting for me to kind of make content about that. I'm Baby. Hey, Baby, thanks for the donuts. It means more to me than you know. Thanks. Baby Fox says, I'm so excited getting my tattoo there, and I will. Ooh, absolutely. I will be making content more about tattoos in Japan also, because a lot of my friends have tattoos head to toe, and I haven't made much content about their experiences with that. And that's a question I get a lot of also, whether or not, you know, Japan is a tattoo-friendly place, which it is more so than it was a decade ago, but not as much as in the West, long story short. Baby Fox also says, I'm going to go drive and get coffee, but hope you have a wonderful live. Thank you for answering my questions. That's what I'm here for, boss. Thank you for the great questions. I'm Baby. Thank you for the black cat. An actual favorite animal, not mine. Cheers. I appreciate your generosity more than you know. It's not forgotten. I hope you all know that. Narciso says, would you be in Japan in fall for next year? 25 or 24. Yeah, that's the plan. I can't make any definitive uh, statements on that just because I really do go wherever my job takes me. So last fall, I thought I might be in Japan, but I was in China for 2 months for work. But likely enough, I will be. I also love fall time in Japan too. If you're there, we got to do some media stuff. Taiwala, thanks for the gift. Speaking of doing fantastic media in Japan, they have really cool Japan content from the recent trip to Hokkaido. Honeybee says, are you in Japan right now? No, I'm back in the States now. I missed several holiday seasons with family, and it's something that won't happen forever. I made it a point to see family this year for the holidays. But yeah, it's great to be back. I am Rose says, are there any nightlife that allow foreigners? Yeah, actually, I have almost never seen any nightlife that discriminates against foreigners. It is in everyone's best interest to cater towards foreigners and stuff like that. I've seen videos where they exist. I think some of them might be misconstrued for like members only nightlife and stuff like that. But nightlife, I did work in nightlife. I did videos for nightclubs, and these are the nightclubs and the lounges that actually the owners specifically told me to interact and get videos to cater to travelers and stuff like that. That would be the Giraffe Resort in Osaka, as well as Warp in Shinjuku, Womb in Shibuya, Tokyo, and the lounge is called Blue Dog Lounge too. That's a fantastic place. Those are near the breaching the surface, but I really always hope that fear of like discrimination isn't something that people would really be like having to worry about if they plan a trip to Japan. Without a doubt, it exists, but I think it's blown out of proportion by every now and then like a video really blowing up where that's the main focus of it. Depends. It's good to be on your guard, but I really have always seen and heard that most all places, especially nightlife, more than anywhere else, is wild welcoming. Adam says, would love to see you how you edit your content very soon. Absolutely. Actually, I have been thinking about streaming my editing process sometime soon when it comes down to like the way I edit videos, the way I edit photos before posting, and even recording my voice. I'll figure out how that goes soon. I'm just working on like the technical elements of how I would stream that. Thanks for asking though, that's exciting. I love your sweater by the way, it says Baby Fox. Cheers Baby Fox. Mad love, I'm a fan and a half too. I got this in Beijing where it was wild cold. B-Dog says, is Halloween time a good time to visit for Japan for the first time? It can be, yeah. I think fall in general is great because it's not too hot, not too cold. The fall leaves are changing, so there's beautiful just a spectrum, a whole gradient of red, yellow, orange leaves in anywhere in nature. I would say Halloween itself is hit and miss. It can be extremely crowded as far as a night out goes. Halloween weekend is really fun. Some places like Shibuya I think are a bit overhyped for Halloween because it's fun in the streets. You get to talk to people, meet people that are doing like cool costumes and stuff. But I will say, if you do want to go into nightclubs and stuff on Halloween night, it is usually packed wall to wall. The table service is more expensive if you don't have reservations. Even if you do, I like to go to more low-key places on Halloween, but it's a blast and a half. It's a fun, vibrant time, sometimes which is uniquely open, like to strangers. You don't always, Japan isn't always a place where people are very open to talk to strangers. Halloween night, I would say, is different. Good question, though, and I hope you have a fun time if you go next Halloween. Slim Soy Boy says, what time of year would you recommend on visiting? Gonna make it my mission to visit in 2024. Heck yes, that is what I support. Springtime. Springtime is above and beyond my favorite time. Again, mid-March to mid-April is when the sakura trees are blooming. That's the cherry blossoms. It is not too hot, not too cold. It's a beautiful scene. It's one of the rare things I've been trying to capture on video and photography for years. It's so hard to kind of just depict how stunning and how beautiful I think of an environment it is without just being there. Just the smell, the cherry blossoms blooming around you, and again back to the fun and rare atmosphere of everyone just going out and having picnics and some drinks under the cherry blossoms. That's my favorite time. Mid-March, mid-April. I'll be there. I hope I can count on that. Honeybee says, hey, what's good, Honeybee? Thank you for dropping into my chat as always. Adam also says, definitely Wes. I know friends of mine who do editing streams on Twitch. Okay, so you can definitely do it. That's fantastic, actually. That's exciting. I will. I previously did try to do editing streams, but it just crashed my computer because I was editing like with a lot of like visual effects without proxies in like 4K raw video. But I think if I'm editing TikTok videos where it's just like 1080p full HD phone videos, I should be good to go. My computer for work should be able to handle that. And then Taiwala's talking to Adam, good stuff. I was mostly working on my long form YouTube stuff. TikTok is different. That's so interesting, actually. I'm so interested in all that too. It's such a different game editing long format content as opposed to short format content. Everything from like the narrative to how just how you kind of focus on how the first 2 seconds of a short format video are so much more important than the first 2 seconds of a long format video. All things like that. It's interesting for me to research and try with trial and error. One thing I love about TikTok videos for travel content and the trial and error process is you can much more easily make a 1 to 3 minute video for TikTok, post it, and get an immediate response to how the editing process was, to the trial and error of what you put out there, and then you can adjust and do the same thing the next day. I think it's a really powerful tool, community system to like hone your voice as a creator. So no one really asked about that. All that rant is done. That's cool though. Oh, highly recommend CapCut Pro. I use it on my content. I love CapCut, absolutely. I haven't used much CapCut because I use Premiere Pro for my work for editing. So I'm just so used to using Premiere Pro. But I do want to get CapCut Pro. I love CapCut for a lot of things. I actually have been sponsored by CapCut recently. And if you all want free CapCut Pro, the link is in my my Instagram bio for 1 week of free CapCut Pro. So that's very exciting. Honeybee says, thank you so much for answering my question. Honeybee, you got it. That is what I'm here for. Thank you for asking the questions. If I miss anyone's question or comment, don't hesitate to ask twice, you know. Taiwala says, probably going to download the CapCut Pro version to make some of these videos. Yeah, CapCut Pro is also gearing towards a lot of its updates being more kind of accessible for longer format content. So that contrasts its beginnings as very short form content oriented with the TikTok trends and all that. You can do so much in it. A lot of CapCut Pro you can actually do more easily than you can in the Premiere Pro, like just the professional standard software that I use. Like for example, live filters on video available in CapCut are above and beyond fantastic. I've used those for live videos. When models have requested live filters on their faces, I take my videos out of Premiere Pro and bring them to CapCut. Just so much easier. I love it. No, says, I remember watching one of your videos with a vending machine hidden door. Where's that at? I want to go. That is in Beijing, actually. Yeah, so that's like a bar that was hidden behind a vending machine. It was low key. I mean, it's in a room full of vending machines, like real vending machines, and then it's the only vending machine where it's like cocktail shakers inside of it instead of other things. So that's a pretty big giveaway. But you just push it and it leads you inside of a really cool low-key speakeasy vibe atmosphere. I love it. I want to go back there again. Refreshing the comments. Let's see. Let's see. Are you forklift certified? No, I'm very curious why you're asking that. Let's see. Ilya says, do you have a Japanese girlfriend? Yes, absolutely. A little bit, half. Calico says, what's up? Wave. Back at you. Cheers. Hope you're having a blast and a half of a day. Welcome back. I loved your comments and questions. Adam says, I never tried Premiere Pro before, but I love using CapCut for my content. CapCut's great. There's so much content out there on how to really use CapCut also. Premiere Pro is really great for control, especially longer format videos. A lot of people use Premiere Pro, Avid, and DaVinci Resolve for like professional, longer like film content and industry standard content. But CapCut Pro, I think it's a bit of the future. I love it. You really don't need to. Premiere Pro, again, it has immense control for all the things you want to do, but it also has a pretty steep learning curve, so it can be kind of a daunting interface to get into. Adam says, heck yes, I agree with you there, Wes. Woo, I'm glad. Cheers. It's always good to talk with people about creation. Speaking of which, Ty Wallace here says, yeah, I'll use that link for sure. Absolutely. Good looking out. Thank you. Helps me more than you know, too. Belinda says, is Japan in July bad? The only time I can go, but people say that don't recommend going then. So July is hot and humid. Aside from that, I think it's great. If you want to skip the heat, you can go up to Hokkaido. My favorite part about Japan in July is the firework festivals. And it's when a lot of people have a bit of time off for the summer, especially like students. So there are a lot of festivals across the country. I think that's so much fun. I love firework festivals. I made a video on how much I love them recently, but it is not, it's not as crowded as Golden Week, like in early May. But it is more crowded than most other times of the year. I would imagine the main reason people are telling you not to go is just because of the heat and the humidity. June is the rainy season, so June and early July is going to be a lot of rain, like coupled with heat and humidity. So if you don't like that, that's the main like deterrent for a lot of people going during that time. However, I love it. I don't mind it. So it depends on your personal opinion, you know. Honeybee says, "Have a great day. I'm going to jump off here. Cheers, Honeybee. Thanks for dropping by. I hope you drop by again soon. Always welcome, you know." Grim says, "I dig your style, my guy." Grim, thank you. You know, I got to screenshot that. Doing my best. You know, this is a little bit just my low key, seeing the family for the holidays style. But thanks. I am always a fan and a half of positive feedback. I think, as you all know, Adam says, "Yeah, I have a friend of mine who does photo editing." Oh, yeah, okay, on Twitch for videos too. That's really cool. I would always watch people edit. I learned so much from editing. I learned so much about photography and video through editing. I think that's wonderful. Let's see. Adam says, "To be honest, I tried CapCut for 20-minute video I do on YouTube and it handled it really well." Okay, glad, nice. Yeah, I was actually editing on CapCut without even downloading it for a long, long time. I just recently downloaded the desktop version. It was a lot of fun. It really blew me away of all the things. I paid for Pro for a little bit. And again, my favorite things were the live filters that they had. CapCut also has really, really good auto captioning tools, which I think is a lot of fun, especially for how almost everything now does so much better on social media if it has very active, very interesting captions. Timothy, thanks for the gifts. I'm blue. It means more to me than you know. Mad love. Grim says, "I dig your style, my guy." Hey, I got that. Thank you so much. Hannah says, "I gave up learning Japanese because I thought I'd never use it, but an interpreter job just opened." Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. I get that. I've given up on several languages because of similar reasons. Points though. If you have enough Japanese to harness that job, that's wild impressive, Hannah. Keep slaying. Sir John, welcome back. Says, "When did you say you'll start streaming on Twitch?" Right now, actually. I just started up on OBS. 18 minutes in. It's kind of a test. It's kind of a new thing. I haven't tried so much. Vibe says yes. There. Hey, good to know. The sound. It's still a little bit of trial and error using some new softwares to stream on multi-platforms, but I am focusing on TikTok here now and checking on how I can see the comments and questions. I'm using this new software I like a lot called Camo Studio, which it like allows to follow. Hey, I saw that. Thanks for the gifts. Y'all helping me support myself via social media more than you know, so thanks. But yeah, it's going now. I got a Twitch affiliate, which I'm very happy about. Timothy, thanks again for the gifts. It says, "Hey Wes," all in caps. I like the enthusiasm. You say, "Hey Wes, I didn't know you were going to be on today." Yeah, I'm going on more early than I can for a couple reasons. Again, a lot of my demographic for the people that connect with my account are in like the eastern coast of America. So when I would usually go on live, it'd be like their late night. I'm trying to go on earlier, and also I have more energy in the daytime. So win-win. If it works out, we'll see. I've had around the same responses, but if I get more of a better response, now is when I might be going on. So cheers for noticing, Timothy. I should be going on almost daily during the weekdays. If y'all are, if anyone is interested, is what I'm trying to say. Natsuso says, "No, damn, is there any in Japan?" Any what? What are we talking about? I forgot what you asked about. If you want to reiterate, would you ask if there's any of in Japan? I'd be curious. User 4963 says, "Your videos are awesome. One of those days I'm gonna visit Japan." Thank you. Again, it means more to me than you know. It boosts my confidence to create more and my motivation nonetheless. So cheers. You know, I gotta screenshot that as well. Very exciting. Let's see. I'm also checking where it shows if I'm even going live. Huh. Who knows? Okay, and then Vibes X says, "Yes, okay, cool, good looking out. Glad about that. Reading from multiple chats and making it work." Mad Funko Bobs, welcome back. Always great to see you there. Thank you for being a member of my team. I see those badges next to your name. It says, "Yo, you were on earlier today." Yeah, I'm giving it a shot. Going on earlier is pretty exciting. But again, I'll see if it works out with my content. So much of TikTok stuff is testing things out, trial and error, because, you know, they don't tell you up front what is best for the algorithm, what is best to reach and connect with your followers, what is best to essentially succeed on the platform. So trial and error, coupled with all the research I do is, and just, you know, the bottom line is content that I create. All that coupled together leads me to try new things pretty frequently. Timothy also says, I didn't know you would be on today. Oh yeah, what's your times now? So as of yesterday and today, I've been going on 2 p.m. 2 p.m. West Coast time, American West Coast time, which would be 8 a.m. Japan time, and around I think like 4 p.m. East Coast time. So that is around what I'll be continuing on with if it keeps working out. But yeah, I'll put that in my bio also. Thanks for asking. Adam says, yeah, because I use photography editing on Twitch myself. Okay, cool. But then my computer couldn't handle it. Yeah, I get that. And yes, I love talking to other content creators too. It's so important. It's so amazing. I've actually met a good amount of content creators in Japan this past year. It's a lot of fun. It's really great for motivation, especially back to how a lot of content creation is not transparent for what succeeds, what like pushes people's like motivations and careers within content creation. So I love that, man. That's fantastic. And yeah, if you stream editing, I'd love to watch that also. The issue is the processing power of a computer. Like streaming takes up so much processing power, coupled with any sort of heavy editing. It's a mission and a half. It was painful doing editing last time I was streaming, just because everything I would click would take like 3 seconds to render, and I'm sure no one enjoyed watching that at all, but sometime soon it's gonna happen. And then Adam also says, to be honest, I tried CapCut for 20-minute videos. Oh, okay, yeah, and that you said it, that did well. Adam, thanks for sharing. Honestly, that's a lot of that's very beneficial to me. All right, then Chris 87MC says, hey man, how's it going? How's your how things going? Thanks for asking. That's very kind of you. Really good. So blessed to see family during the holidays. I mean, this probably goes without saying, but I really do appreciate seeing the family when after years of not seeing family during the holidays, which I had a blast and a half during Christmas in Japan also, but family events won't always be there for you, so I gotta seize the day when they are. How about you, boss? How is everyone doing on this post-Christmas Wednesday? Narciso talking to Timothy, probably just his name. What did Timothy? I'll get to that soon. Kinda Studio Ghibli, what's up? Okay, your videos make me want to visit Japan so bad. Keep up the good work. Kinda Studio Ghibli. I love Studio Ghibli. And Kinda Studio Ghibli too. Cheers. That makes me so happy, more than you know. Good looking out, and I'm gonna keep it up. That's a lot of motivation for me to keep chugging along, editing these videos and recording my voices. Mad Funko Pops, number 3 gifter. I see you there. Thank you for the generosity. Says, 私は焼肉が好きです。私は何？どの肉？鶏肉。私は鶏肉が好きです。いいね。鶏肉。なんか焼肉みたい？いいね。一緒。Yeah, no, without a doubt, me as well. I think you said you like barbecue meat, not yakiniku. I think is that like bird meat, toriniku? Ga suki desu. If you want to elaborate, I can't read the first character in front of Niku. But yeah, I love it also. If you're referring to my last video where I review several places that have phenomenal barbecue chicken, cheers. And if y'all want to go leave a comment on my last video where I do review 3 of my favorite Tokyo Shinjuku restaurants that have great food, great atmospheres, and great prices actually too. Leave me a comment. It helps me more than you know. Thank you, thank you. And self-promotion is over for now. Adam says, Timothy, it's the same name here, mate. Hey, okay, cool. All right, I'm going to remember. Look at y'all go. Timothy is a fantastic name. And then Timothy says, what's your Twitch? Yep, it's my name. Wes Mather on everything. Wes Mather on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok. I have zero creativity when it comes up to making exciting names, unlike so many of you fantastic people. The link should be in my bio under westlinks.com, westmather/westlinks.com. Yeah, maybe I'll get more creative with my names at some point, but we'll see. Nervo says, I found your Twitch. I'm so glad to watch this while I game. Hey, I'm so glad. Cheers. I'm typing that too to see how it goes. Moth says, hey, yo, welcome. Cheers, Moth. Good looking out, mad love. Georgie says, certainly watching on TikTok too. Hey, you guys are legends. I want to take a photo of this, but I'm using like I'm using all my stuff except for my camera, so I can only take a photo of this elaborate setup. All you guys double watching me on 2 platforms with my camera. I'll post this someplace. So cheers. Say cheese, you guys. 3, 2, 1. All right, I got y'all. We'll we'll share this moment at some point someday. I'm glad this is all working. Welcome and cheers. The hidden door entrance, like in Beijing. Yeah, I love. There are some hidden door entrances. Narciso was referring to one of my favorite speakeasy style bars in Beijing, which is hidden behind a vending machine. You push through. There's this dark red hallway that leads into this really cool kind of video game and a little bit adult content themed bar. So I mean, I guess all bars are adult themed content because it's drinks, but this is extra adult themed content. Be warned about that, but nothing too wild. But yeah, cheers for asking about the Twitch. Timothy, user 496 says your videos. Oh, thank you about that. And I'm refreshing the comments now. Let's see. No way, didn't know you were also streaming on YouTube. Yeah, absolutely. I'm working on all platforms. We're seeing how it goes. I got a photo of all of us watching on all the things. Happy about that. LMAO, the heck, yes, Notif is sending me. Well, I'm learning all these things. Narciso says, that the 70 millimeter? Yes, my all-time favorite lens for content creation now. This is the 70 to 200 millimeter f2.8. I love it. It's great. It's a little bit overpriced, and I don't think I would exactly have gone for this if it wasn't fairly necessary for a lot of my work too, but it is very much something that is dear to my heart. Yeah, it's great. Honestly, the 70 to do 100 f2.4 will do you just as solid for most things. But this one for low light events, just chef's kiss of a lens. Hope y'all get to try it out sometimes if you're interested. Taiwan says that lens, mate. Yeah, my camera is not even that intense. Well, again, this is for my work. I have to do this with the Canon R5C. I essentially have to zoom in with this lens, shooting in 8K RAW every now and then, which uses so much other things, not to mention the processing power of my poor overused PC here. But yeah, I fan and a half. Thank you. I love this lens. A lot of the content that you will be seeing in my videos to come here on TikTok will be taken with that lens. You'll see just how sharp and stunning I think it is too. Just the way that it makes that natural bokeh behind any subject is just aesthetically pleasing, makes my eyes happy. And if that's not what videography is all about, then what is? I guess it can be about money, making the consumer's eyes happy, but I don't know. Comme si, comme ça. Yeah, all the same. Case by case. Jen says hi from Texas. What's up, Jen? Hello. To my friend in the East. Cheers. I have family in Texas. I love it out there. Adam says cheese. Hey, I love that camera, bro. Me too. Canon EOS R5C, just above and beyond. Great for photography. The way that it just it locates someone's eyes and it tracks the focus on their eyes is so cool. And it just makes for the best action photos. The action videography blows me away every time. I hope y'all give it a shot. I did rent it before I bought it. I recommend that all the time. I was torn between that and the Sony FX3. Both really fantastic, but for photography, the Canon took the cake. And I still, even though my work does revolve around videography, I love photography too. Kinda. Studio Ghibli also says, how hard was it to learn and understand the language when you first moved? Very difficult. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but it was also such a fulfilling process from start to finish. So I did start learning the language in classes when I first went to Japan. That's a huge advantage, not to mention the advantage of immersion, having to use the Japanese language day in, day out through ordering food, making friends, talking to somebody cute, everything I needed to learn the language for. So that really forced me to get it down with the added discipline of having classes daily for like 4 hours. It was taxing. It was mentally taxing. It was arduous. It was time intensive, but it was fun every step of the way. Even after the first 2 days of class, I remember being able to like introduce myself to somebody in school in Japanese, talk about my hobby, try to tell somebody where I was from and stuff. So I think if you start using the language and even like synthesizing some kind of immersion with somebody cool you like to talk in Japanese with, then I think it becomes a much more easy process, even though through the most difficult parts, even through learning kanji, which is a steep learning curve, and even through like any plateaus of learning where it feels like you're not making progress. If you enjoy it by connecting with people through the language or through the culture, I think it's arduous but fulfilling. Matt Funko Pops, number 2 gifter says, Toriniku, there we go. I thought so. Okay, Toriniku, absolutely. 私もそのやつ大好きですね。なんか早く食べたい。鶏肉はアメリカであまり見つけたことがない。焼き鳥とかそんな感じだけどあるでしょう。So they said toriniku is what that is, and I just said I haven't been able to find it in America that much, yakitori and such. They do have really good yakitori in America, but it's like at least 3 times more expensive for less less of the chicken. That's barbecue chicken on a steak, by the way. And that just changes the whole atmosphere of a night out. I love the atmosphere of going out to an izakaya in Japan because it's cheap, accessible, casual, and a little bit, it lends itself to a little bit of a wild atmosphere too, which I think is fun. And it's odd that, Japan will have a more wild atmosphere in a restaurant than in America, where people are culturally kind of anticipating the reverse, but I will stand by that. Nerve Ruler says, sorry, I'm Timothy from TikTok. Cheers. This is awesome. I see you on both platforms. Wild fun. Yellow Legends. And then, okay, Chicken Meat says, Mad Funko Pops. I have so much fun practicing Japanese with you, by the way, so good looking out. Cheers. And thanks for letting me know the characters that I'm not able to read. ここでなんか日本語練習できたらいつも嬉しいの。いつも嬉しいよ。ありがとう。あるよ、なんか、日本語時々下手になるから、いつも練習できたら練習したいね。I said I always want to practice. Sometimes there are times when I don't use Japanese, I get worse at it. So if I can practice here, I'm happy as can be. Georgie says, the focus on your face on the stream is really cool. Okay, yeah, so I think we're talking about, so here is how I have it in the studio. If I move around, let's see if I can get this in real time. Here, if I move around, it'll like follow me. I don't know if y'all can see that a little bit. There are some fun things too where I'm trying not to mess it up. Zoom out, zoom in. I think a healthy middle is fine. And then because a little bit out of focus in the background. It's kind of nice. I also only have one of these things, so I'd like to get more at some point because I'm resting this phone up against the screen. But thanks, man. I appreciate that. Adam says, since then I got new equipment. I might try it again and see how it goes in the new year. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I remember I first started streaming on my MacBook while editing, and that, I'm pretty sure just crashed the whole program the moment I started, but who knows. Equipment helps. Jen says, my teen daughter is trying to learn Japanese online. Fantastic. That's great. If I could just imbue any advice, check out Hello Talk and Interpals. This is cool talking to a parent about this too, because this is about connecting with people on the internet. But yeah, it's about connecting with people through language, and it's like a virtual pen pal. That's something I do recommend, as well as just getting into having a conversation with somebody. It could be like a language practice partner in class or school or something like that. It makes it so much more fulfilling, and it takes it into like learning the culture immediately as opposed to learning just the language. And I just think that really is beneficial for a longevity of a study program. I get really burnt out on study if there's not an immediate return. I know that makes me come across as lazy, but also a bit pragmatic, I think. So the immediate return for me would be just the immediate boost of serotonin I get when I get to connect with another human through a new language. That's my favorite part about it. Looking back, I'm hoping to put my money where my mouth is and redo the whole thing, trying to learn like Mandarin Chinese now, and it's going slowly, but I think I can give it a shot. We'll see. I'll document some of that process also. Ty Wallace is also, Wes, what are your thoughts on the crazy TikTok food trends in Tokyo? I don't maybe know what you're talking about. You will hear my thoughts. Crazy TikTok food trends in Tokyo. Is it more crazy than usual? If I just Google that, will it come up? Crazy TikTok food trends in Tokyo. Generally speaking is a blanket statement. I love all food trends because I like food in general. Sometimes it goes overboard. I think sometimes it's less of an appreciation of food and more of just like the spectacle of food in a wasteful way. But if it's cool, then I'm all for it. George is watching on Twitch. Hey, Martha's LMAO. Heck yes. Notif sends me. Shows the cat filter. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here we go. Then there are filters here also on this thing. Where'd it go? Augmented reality, basic portrait. I have that one now. There's one where they put a cat on top of me. Chromatic, Jaguar. That one's kind of spooky. It makes my face a jaguar. Fred's on your head. There we go. I guess Fred is this cat. So yeah, and it's also in and out of focus. Let's stick with this for a moment. Why not? Okay. So sorry for getting derailed. But yeah, if you want to elaborate what the crazy food trends in Tokyo are for TikTok, I'm very excited. Trending Japanese food, it says on TikTok. All right, I'll look into this. Japanese kitchens are crazy, it also says. There's a lot to unpack here. I'm going to get into this probably over hours by myself. Adam says, I think I need to re-download Duolingo to learn my Japanese. Yeah, I hear amazing feedback on Duolingo. I hear that Duolingo is a great way to really get into language learning. It hacks into that part of your mind that makes you want to beat a video game and kind of redirects that into learning a language. Like, if you did the Duolingo for like 3 days straight, it says you're on a 3 day streak. You don't want to give up now, and then you want to do it, right? And then you get like awards, you get points. I think that's great. I hear fantastic everything about learning through Duolingo. I will say that from what I know about it, it does kind of, you do miss out on a little bit of the basic structure for the foundation of like grammar and things that will be really helpful if you really move on into just like having to write papers or do like in-depth conversations in Japanese, but it's really good for conversational Japanese. I will say you can supplement that by just getting a textbook too to maybe do a deeper dive into some of the grammar concepts. I know that sounds so boring, but I guarantee you it does have help. It does help in the long run. I recommend the Genki textbook, Genky. It's free online, I believe. So no one asked about that. But I gotta shout it out anyway. Then Matt Foco Pops, #1 gifter, you absolute legend. Thank you for helping me support my travels. As always, I only know very basic Japanese. Hey, it's all good. We can practice here. My Japanese reading and writing has drastically gone downhill since I left classes and I stopped studying for my tests. But my conversational Japanese has greatly increased, especially just as far as I can speak casually, just because of practice and living there. So I don't know, practice with everything makes perfect. But I gotta get back to studying Japanese kanji every now and then too, because sometimes I see kanji that I know or I knew at some point. God, I sound like Dr. Seuss. I know I knew at some point when I was like studying kanji daily, day in, day out, but I know I forgot it also, which is frustrating as hell. So I'm gonna get on that at some point. Matt Funko Pop says, I didn't show my gift. Oh no! Well, it says you're the #1 gifter, so I know it happened. D4 CPS, welcome back. Always good to see you. Thank you for subscribing. You too, Taiwan. I see that boss icon next to your logos. Nope, boss logo next to your icons. Y'all are bosses and halves. I love how I'm sitting the TikTok stream and I get 2 notifications that he's streaming on Twitch and YouTube. Hey! Technology at its finest. I'm glad. I hope it works out. If it's like overwhelming or not practical, I will not do this anymore, but I thought I'd give it a shot too, especially when it's more of a casual, like just talking about my day kind of thing. I love streaming in like very high definition, especially when I'm going to be streaming walking around Tokyo and showing my favorite like locations. Like dare I say it's sunset or when it's just like the cherry blossoms are blowing in the wind. So I want to find the best way to stream where it looks as sharp as can be. And I think my new phone might facilitate that at some point. But for now, I'm just dabbling into all the new features I can find. Jen says, did you learn Japanese for your job or just as an interest? As an interest, actually, almost on a whim. I really went to Japan for the first time, not expecting to learn the language, not expecting to really like Japan as much as I did. But the people, the location, the culture just blew me away and really captivated me. I initially just went for a 3-month summer program at Osaka University, and at the end of that program, I knew I really had to buckle down and learn the language. So essentially as a hobby, but as already a full-time student. And I did see an end game, like light at the end of the tunnel of all these tests, all these late nights of cramming different characters and whatnot. Hey, thanks for the follow. I appreciate you. Woo! And I have an icon. It's all working. It's okay. I'm glad my tech is working. I was up into the night last night at Streamlabs. Miles says he's horrifying. The cat on my head, you all can't see. Hold on. Yeah, right there. There's a little bit of a cat on my head. I don't know if you can see. It's he's lovely. Leave him alone. But yeah, that's how I learned the Japanese. The light, oh yeah, the light at the end of the tunnel was me trying to get a job, knowing I needed to learn Japanese. I'm refreshing the comments. If I miss your comment and question, also don't hesitate to ask twice. Taiwala talking to Jen. Thanks. My wife is also an N1, so she's trying to teach me at the same time. That is so fantastic. I love that. And again, learning Japanese or learning language in general, like as a couple, is so fulfilling, I believe. So N1, for anyone that doesn't know, the national certification for the Japanese language as a foreigner, JLPT, is from N1 is the top most prestigious certification you can have for anything. And N5 is the most basic, so it goes all those levels. I was around N3. I was around N2, but I did pass N3. Aaron Boo says, yay, Twitch stream. Aaron Boo, good looking out. Cheers, mad love. And yes, I even have a little cat on my head. Fun stuff. I'm excited. I'm so excited people are interacting with me on all these platforms. Y'all are legends. Y'all boost my enthusiasm for all the content I get to embark upon producing. Adam says, I also used to watch Nihongo, quick lesson on NHK. Interesting. World, that's also great for Japanese lessons. You know, I learn something new from chat every single day, and this is one of those days. As I bite my tongue, cheers to all you with my coffee. All right, I'm gonna take a screenshot of that and definitely look into that sometime myself. Aaron Boo says, Kohi, exactly. なんかこういう大好きだから、なち。なんか日本語の言葉は英語の言葉が多いだからそれは簡単だと思う。Aaron Boo said kohi, that means coffee in Japanese. Then I said a lot of Japanese vocabulary is English vocabulary. Vocabulary like coffee is kohi. A little bit same, a little bit off, but a lot of things like that. Bar is ba, beer is biru. Things like just the list goes on and on. Bus is basu, things like that. Yeah. Anyway, no one asked. No one asked me about that, but I'll often talk about it anyway. Keiki, yeah. Aaron Brew also says this is Keiki, exactly. You know what's up. You know the best ones. Adam says I also. Oh yeah, I took a screenshot of that. I'm gonna make a note of checking out lessons on NHK. Esmers, thank you for the gifts. Cat Paws, right back at you. Thank you for the generosity. Above and beyond helpful. Jen says, wow, Ty, that's good. Ty Waller knows a ton about learning the language too. Duolingo streak at 150 days now. Speak of the devil. That's what I'm talking about. There we go. 150-day streak. That's cool. I will always say that's something so central to learning the language. And this is backed up by all my teachers too, who eventually were proud of me for getting the language down, even though I was a tumultuous student to say the least. Persistence is up there with what's important. Persistence and just not giving up. Again, because there's so many times when you learn a language, when you plateau, when it feels like you're not making any progress. But I promise you that is coupled with every now and then you just have a breakthrough and you understand random ass phrases you never even remember, like knowing moments before and in a conversation. That is such a fulfilling experience. It happens. Keep it up. That's badass. I love that. The 4CBS, thanks for the gifts. Cheers. Cheers back. Hey, it is a happy holiday season indeed with all you people. Adam also says, look at Nihongo quick lessons on NHK. That's really cool. Let's see. Ty Wall says, ha 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 ha. That's how they kept me pulled in. Oh, the Duolingo? Yeah, no, Duolingo really hit the nail on the head with how people love video games and how you can kind of combine video games and education. I mean, people have been doing that since I was a kid. I remember I played some typing video games. They had like Schoolhouse Rock. Games and education have been making pushes for the attention of the youth for as long as games existed, I think. But yeah, Duolingo definitely found a sweet spot for it, I think. That's really cool. Let's see. Jen says, my daughter is doing the Duolingo. Okay, she's having better success with Japanese on there than Spanish. Interesting. That's so cool. I'm so glad. Again, this is when I learned so much from y'all in the chat. I didn't know that about Duolingo. And it's tricky with these things because I'm part of this problem I'm about to speak about, so I don't know, disclaimer. But it's hard to see what these apps, it's hard sometimes to get an honest opinion of these apps because so many of the things you research online are paid sponsorships that do like promote the use of these apps, and then these apps put so much money into making themselves look good online. So just like unsolicited user feedback like this about some of these apps is stuff I really take to heart when it comes to recommending what to tell people how to learn a language. So cheers, I won't forget that. That's fantastic. Beryl says, have you gotten any knowledge or advice from the older generation in Japan? Yeah, absolutely. Especially on like changing dynamics of things. I did a lot of work in the countryside with videos and stuff like that, so I worked with an older generation there. Something that's interesting, and it's hard to translate into English, they talked to me about shokunin culture, which is really just the very, very, very focused, complete mastery of a trade, which is actually losing a lot of prevalence in Japanese culture because it doesn't really go hand in hand with it being lucrative. But shokunin culture is why people study like 30 years on how to make sushi and like 3 years on just how to pack the rice right. It's really mastery of a trade. And something that a lot of people talked to me about when they were teaching me the Japanese language is some of these older words in the Japanese language, they really have great meaning that's hard to translate to other like languages and cultures, but they really are things that just bring so much peace within like the Buddhist and kind of Shinto religions that are getting lost in Japanese culture. Some words like that, like shokunin, I think are fantastic. It's the mastery of a trade without like without the hope of it translating into money, without the hope of it translating into social prowess, just the enjoyment of a mastery of a trade. Something like that is really interesting. I'm trying to articulate it well enough in English, and I'm also trying to figure out how to make content about some of these words and terms and kind of philosophies I've learned, especially from older people, if that's what you're talking about. But that is something I'd love to really do much more content about. And yeah, also just longevity. Japan has more older people in than like most any other places in the world, and more centurions, especially in Okinawa, like more people living past 100. It's Logo. Welcome back. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate it. More 2024s. Making me happy. Anyway, so a lot of that is just because eating non-processed foods, just staying active. I don't know exactly why, and if people knew why people are living so long and being active so active into their later years, I'm sure people would be marketing it and monetizing it inside and out. Logo, thank you so much for the, oh my God, 45 gifts, you absolute beast. Anyway, I learned some things like that, just eating natural foods. In Okinawa specifically, a lot of people really do survive off their own gardens, and people do attribute a lot of that immense health in Okinawa specifically to the diet. And also there's some like interesting what is it called? Like not pseudoscience, like half metaphysical science stuff where people think there's something called like an energy spot in Okinawa. I don't know about that, but it's very interesting. Aaron Boo says, yeah, I've been expanding my taste palette to Japanese dishes. Heck yeah, I did a lot of the same too when I arrived. I learned to eat a lot of foods I never thought I would love when I first went to Japan. I'm glad, Aaron. That's fantastic. And I want to do more so too, especially being more health conscious. Adam says there are episodes on YouTube you can catch up. I think there's like 20 episodes. Okay, cool. Of NHK learning of a language. I like it. I'm going to keep that in mind. Thanks. Callum, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Always great to see you here in the chat. You say, hey Wes, hope you're doing amazing. How are you? That's awesome of you to ask. Cheers. I'm doing great. Enjoying my coffee, talking to all you fantastic people on several platforms at the moment, or 3 platforms at the moment. It's a great day. I'm really enjoying content creation. I know I had like a pretty long hiatus when it came to posting and going live, mainly because I was in China, but I'll be back and it's going to keep hitting hard. It's going to keep, that doesn't make sense. I'm going to keep hitting it. I'm going to go for it. Hope you know what I mean. That's great. It's all great. Flamester TV says, Sir John. Okay, cool, man. Welcome to my stream on TikTok and YouTube. That's very exciting. Cheers. Mad love, mad respect. I'll be doing this more often. If anyone just joined here, I'm answering any questions on my travels, on my language learning experience, on all that. Barrow, thank you for the crane gift. Means a ton. Thanks for the generosity. It's not forgotten ever. Okay, I'm refreshing the comments now. Thanks for the patience. Jen says, fish is good for you. I agree. I think that's another big part of why people live so long in Japan. I think a large portion of the protein coming from fish as opposed to a lot of other places coming from maybe more cholesterol heavy meats. I love meat though. I don't know if I can change my diet that much. Another one would be locally sourced vegetables as opposed to like largely imported, exported vegetables. That kind of comes from it being an island nation. However, I haven't done as much research on that as I'd like to. Another one is that people, compared to America, people in Japan walk so much more. Like public transportation is so accessible that I can go days. I have. When I live in America, when I lived in California, I've gone days without really going outside. I would walk to my car, drive to work, walk into work, basically sit down at a computer, then drive home. That was my whole day. I could go, if I didn't focus on fitness, it would be so easy for me to really just have such a sedentary lifestyle. And in Japan, you walk so much just for socializing, for work, for taking the train. I'm sure that plays a part into it. But I mean, obviously, if people knew exactly how to be healthy, it's not as simple as just checking off boxes on what you eat and what you do. Maybe. But yeah, Jen, long story short, could not agree more. Then LOL Goggles, thank you for the gifts. It means a ton. It's not forgotten. How do you meet new people in Japan? Great question. And actually, this is something I really want to make more content on. Just several venues of consistently putting myself out there, practicing the language. I think number one could actually mainly be not being afraid to practice the language, even in its like infancy, even though you know it's going to be imperfect, meeting people halfway with imperfect Japanese in whatever way they want to communicate. That's also why I speak so much with my hands. It's because for like a good half year to maybe even a full year, I was very bad at the Japanese language, but I was really excited to talk to new people anyway. So I got into the habit of like talking with my hands a lot. I don't know if y'all notice, like even when I say I walk there, I like do like this or something, that's because sometimes I would forget the word to walk and I just say to go. Nanka, achi ni ikitai ne, aruku de ikoka, or sorry, sanpo shimashou is how you say that, but I would forget those words. So I'd say iko, like let's walk, or I'd say like iko, let's drive, like mimicking stuff. But again, no one asked about that. Meeting new people, back to that. I love meeting new people through events, like live music events, art shows at coffee shops, things like that. I think are really, really great. And it just takes a little bit of like approaching people, saying hi. Always, usually I start off with a compliment because it's usually a genuine thing that I really enjoy someone's style or something about them. And then I even use like, oh, I got a phone call and it made my phone fall down. Let's see if this is gonna come back up. Let's see. Here in the South, we eat a lot of seafood, but we fry it a lot. Aaron Boo says, interesting. Fried seafood is so good, says Moth. I agree. No, that sounds great. Anyway, I got a phone call. I knocked over my phone. But yeah, that's a great way. I'll just like list off some other ways I make friends generally. Joining groups. I do a lot of pickup games for sports. I do a lot of like groups through hiking and photography. Check out meetup.com or Meetup. It's an app. You can sign into these things. Also, as far as we're talking about apps to make friends in Japan, try HelloTalk and Interpals. Those are great ways to make like virtual pen pals, things like that. And then dating apps like Bumble has a friendship setting too, or not friendship setting. Not friendship setting if you want to make any kinds of connections. Who knows? But yeah, those are some ways. One big way to make friends at like a cafe or a bar that I've really come to love is connecting with the barista or the bartender. Like sometimes I'll go to a place and I'll just start up conversation with the barista or a bartender. They're often like very inept they're very powerful conversationalists due to that line of work. And if I talk to these people I would say more often than not, they'll like introduce me to other like locals, to other like frequent patrons of the cafe or the bar or the restaurant, because they work there. They want everyone to have a good time. I've met a lot of like great people in my community just by talking to baristas and bartenders. I'm sure that's the situation for, America too, for most places. But that is one thing that I certainly have picked up on myself subconsciously doing for a long time, because it's worked out really well over a course of years of being in, always being in places where I don't know that many people. And I'm also usually a stranger to most people I meet in a lot of the places I've lived in the past like 7 years, which is, it's worked out fine, I think, because of these practices I've picked up on. Adam says another show on NHK that helped Wes is Sense of Japan. Really good for customs and manners. I love that. This sounds like a great way for me to research content for my videos. I took a screenshot of that. Thank you. I'm excited. I'll make it happen. Moth, talking to Aaron Boo, says honestly the best way to fry food. I make friends from gaming. Okay, there we go. And Moth agrees, of course. Moth agrees. That's good too. LOL, join those Japanese servers. I think that's great. I've heard people doing that before. Japan also does Discord and stuff like that, although that could also lead to various other language barriers. And then back to events. If you're not a student in Japan and you can't join like student clubs that revolve around like a gaming, anime, manga, sports, basketball, hiking, snowboarding, whatever you want it to be, drinking, they have events too. They have like gaming events. They have internet cafes. They have gaming cafes. They have so many just venues. I think the term that I've heard coined in English recently is third place. I love that term. A place between work and school, which is just like a general place for socialization and a sense of community to be built. A third place is often a place that you find in Japan based around hobbies. Gaming is certainly one of those. I love that. So yeah, some of that takes research. Some of the places I've found that I love have just been a cool vibe that I like. I have 20 spare bucks. I can go spend it on a coffee or a drink, and I just go in and see what a place is like. But yeah, I'm excited about talking about meeting people in a new country, because that is really the core of why I liked being in different countries and traveling. Beryl says, have you gotten any knowledge or advice from older generation? That's a really good question. I hope you heard my response. Yeah, a lot about Shokunin culture, which is cool. And I did make a video that touched on this recently, but let's see. Check the stream on your social platforms, it says. Oh, interesting. I'm learning all these new things. Anyway, I did make a video recently on a pretty dark subject, I think, about how the population in Japan is slowly but surely decreasing. People aren't having kids recently in the past couple decades as much. So that leads to a lot of a very quickly aging population, especially in the countryside, because all the younger generations are wanting to move to the cities where there's more opportunity. So a lot of the customs and the cultures and the mentalities that are very unique to these small towns are quite literally dying off with older generations, and that's really sad. That really does make me want to like experience a lot of these things before while I can, especially if I can make content about them. And yeah, I've had the opportunity to do so a bit, but I'd like to see how that goes if I really do actually make that my priority in some domestic trips or whatnot. Refreshing the comments. Thank you all for the patience too. If I miss your comment and question, don't hesitate to check twice, ask twice. You know what I mean with that. Let's see. Aaron Boo says honesty the best way. Gaming and such. I would love to get back into gaming. I am gonna try streaming some games soon too, just because I like gaming myself. I won't be good though. I'll warn you all up front about that. The for CPS. Thank you for subscribing. I see that boss icon right next to you. Cheers. Says, what's your favorite thing you've done this year? That's such a great question. Travel, this is off brand, but traveling to China was one of them. It just blew me away. It was an opportunity I didn't know if I would have because of visa difficulties again. It really opened my eyes to so many of the things out there in the world that I have not even considered seeing or checking out yet. Zhangjiajie blew me away in China as far as just like natural spectacle goes. Again, that's the place where they filmed Avatar with the huge finger looking like mountains. It made me realize how much more there is out there, especially within like natural beauty that I would love to see. I hope to like focus more on traveling to do maybe like longer hikes, longer trips into natural places where I might not even have might not go for work opportunities, but I really want to go to just personally check out other favorite things I've done. Oh god, food is up there. There's been a lot of things. Yeah, that might be it actually. Going to Zhangjiajie, a long day hike in those mountains. That's up there. There have been a lot of really amazing things I've done in Japan this past year too, but that one really sticks out, I think. That's a good question. I might think of a different answer along the line and really just blurt it out of nowhere. But for now, that's gonna be my answer. Okay, let's see what else we have. Cosplay Hero, welcome back. It's great to hear from you. Says, I met my friend on Bumble and we have a ton of plans for my trip in March. That's so awesome. I love that. Yeah, I've met a lot of people on Bumble, both as like the dating version and actually never on the friends version. But I have had friends that meet friends on Bumble through the friends version. And then they don't want to go alone, so they invite me out also. I kind of get that also, too, not being, especially if they're like a girl and they're not sure if the people really want to meet up for a friendship or not, but who knows? But yeah, I hear great things about that. I think on Bumble and some dating apps, you can also set your location. So if you know you're going to travel to Tokyo, no matter of where you are in the world, you can like, boop, 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 boop. I'm going to be in Tokyo. Let's set the location to Tokyo and you'll be there. So that's something I recommend. But again, I always say this afterwards. Please don't get in trouble with your boyfriend or girlfriend if you do download Bumble or Tinder, because I said so, because it's good to make friends in Japan. It's a hollow excuse, I think. Don't come for me if that's the situation. Noah says, love your videos. Noah, that means a lot to me. Thank you. Mad respect. It's more motivation than you know. So cheers. Adam says, hey, Adam, thanks for the gifts. The cranes. Hey, it means more than you know. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Fitness is so important. I've started going to the gym and I love it. Even experiment content there too. Yeah, I agree. Fitness, I think for me, I really try to do my best with it. It's never something that I've really like made huge leaps and bounds with aesthetically, but just consistent fitness consciousness always gives me more energy. And I think just being that way over the past decade has, in some regards, made me comfortably healthy, which I always never want to take for granted. I never want to take for granted. Adam, cheers! Because everything's just normal until you're sick, then you realize how good you had it when you were not sick. So I always try to remind myself of that. Speaking of which, I'm gonna try to go on a run later today. Try to being the key word. Jen says, one of my great grandmothers was Japanese. She lived to just over 100, only met her once. Heck yeah, again, like so many centurions. That's just, I'm glad you got the chance to meet her. Great grandmothers. When I was young, no, I don't think I've ever been alive when I have had a great grandmother alive as well. I might have to double check that, but that's so fantastic to be able to meet a generation that far back. That's such a special thing to happen. Cheers, Jen. That's fantastic. Honestly, mad love. Then Callum says Scotland, Highlands, and Lowlands are beautiful. I think you would like It's for photography. Cal, I don't know if it was you that brought up Scotland before, but that is very high on my list of places to go. And you know, I am an EU citizen. I will be out and about in Europe as soon as I can possibly be there. So that's up there on my list. Mavi says, can you speak Japanese? I can. I'll answer the next couple questions in English and Japanese. なんか次の質問は英語と日本語で答えてます。約束です。I said the same thing. Cosplay Hero says, Sup West, glad to catch you live. You have helped with my trip plans tons. That means more to me than you know. Screenshot in progress. I'm going to do something with all these screenshots. Mark my words. That sounds more menacing than it's supposed to sound promissory, not like mark my words. But it's all good here. Callum also says, hey Wes, I think you should check out. Oh yeah, Scotland. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my phone listening to my conversations like I know it does, but I've had so many European like travel like things come up on my TikTok in the past month after I started talking about a trip to Europe than ever before. I love it. Yeah, if I can just bring my drone, my camera out there and just start going around these places in Eastern Northern Europe, Scotland, I will be a happy camper. And I hear that a lot of places in Europe, it's fairly easy to travel speaking English. Not that I'm against like learning basic phrases. I plan to do so anyway. And not that I think, you know, it's by any means any sort of like barrier to make friends through phone translation. But it was rough to travel in China not speaking Mandarin. I will say that, especially when I had to talk to police and had to like negotiate buying tickets with my passport and my visa and such. A lot of the times, even to get a train ticket or to enter some of the national parks, I would have to show my passport and then I'd have to show my visa separately. And if there were not people in my group that spoke Mandarin as well as English, I would have been, I think, pretty stressed. So yeah, long story short, I'm excited to travel Europe. I hear it's a very amazing place to travel. I can't wait. Alola Goggles, number 2 gifter, you absolute beast, says, how do you meet new people in Japan? I did get that. I hope you're in my answer. A slew of ways. Let me think if there's any ways I forgot. Honestly, I've made some really good friends and connections just by speaking to people on the street. If you're respectful, I think that's always a fun thing to do. Steven, thank you for the roses. And Adam, thank you for the gifts. Y'all are wild generous. It's not forgotten. It's remembered more than you know. Cheers. So my other stream is a bit lagging and it's so like disorienting seeing myself how I act a couple moments ago. So sorry if I seem a bit distracted today. Also, there's like a 3D cat on top of my image there. It's hard to find a flattering angle of myself too in 2 different. Well, these are things that no one needs to hear about. Anyway, next question. Steven says, yo, what's good? Steven, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Cheers and thanks for the enthusiasm. Shoshoa, I hope I said that name right. Shoshoya, Jojua, Georgia maybe. How long did it take you to get out of the airport when you got there in Japan? Adam, thanks for the gift. Cheers. The first time, a hot second, I'm not gonna lie. The first time, I meandered around the damn airport for like probably a good 20 minutes just trying to figure out what to do because I knew I had to find a bus. Through a stroke of good fortune, another exchange student saw me looking lost as can be and like took pity on me, came to like fish me out of the crowd and like help me. But before then, I went up to the information desk. They just have the, you know, universal information symbol of an I or a question mark, lowercase I. And I asked them just in English and they told me exactly where to go, exactly on what bus. And then with the other exchange student, who she's actually still a good friend of mine to this day, even though we don't like see each other much. But we found out how to get our Suica card or Ikoka card. I forgot which one it was at the time. And we found our way to the hotel meeting point. But yeah, that I would say 45 minutes altogether. However, nowadays, when I'm fairly confident about how to navigate Tokyo, if it's an airport I'm familiar with, it'll like, you know, once I grab my luggage, I'm out of there in like 5 minutes. It's the quickest airport ever. And again, I know I say this every live, not to throw shade on LA. I love LA. I'm JT. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Moth, hi, says JT. Cheers. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. And what a cute icon you got there. Cheers. Welcome to my Twitch stream. Anyway, like the last couple times I've arrived in like Haneda Airport in Tokyo, I can just like blast through there. So convenient. There's multiple access points of amazing public transportation from there to anywhere within Shinjuku. Haneda, you can take like a subway right from the airport to Shinjuku within like 30 minutes. It's fantastic. Nerima Airport, sorry, Narita Airport takes like a good hour, unfortunately, just because it's far away from everything that's central. But yeah, it's quick and easy. It's affordable. LAX, again, not to throw so much shade on my hometown, but it's such an awful airport. I do. Some of my conspiracy theories were confirmed that LAX was kind of like funded by, or a lot of the infrastructure around LAX was kind of like propagated by car companies, and LA was very much designed to be a city of driving because of car companies. Anyway, that was not the case in the states. So as opposed to LAX, where you really have to drive to or take an Uber to, or maybe find a bus to, I don't know. There are so many public transportation points of entry right at any airport I've ever been to in Japan. So good question, and I hope that's helpful. なんか後で日本語の名前はどうやって言いますか? And then I just add, how do you say your Japanese name? Callum says, in Scotland, they passed a law where you can camp anywhere as long as you don't make a mess. I love that, and I love camping. I'll do that. I don't know if I trust myself just to camp anywhere in Scotland. I feel like I don't know the dangers of the Scotland countryside, but I'll do some research and I'll check it out. That's so cool. I love that. I love the fact that that just makes it seem like the general population of Scotland is so like just friendly, kind, and welcoming enough so that they don't mind people just camping out anywhere. That's badass. I'm excited. And then I'm JT says, I love your YouTube shorts. Thank you so much. More to come and longer format content coming on YouTube. Cheers. You know, that's something I don't get so much feedback on. So I'm JT. The fact that you love my YouTube shorts means more to me than you know. Mad love. Jen says, do people there get upset when new learners speak poor Japanese? Just curious. Never, not at all. In fact, it's kind of like a running joke amongst the foreign community in Japan that everyone will say that your Japanese is good. なんか日本語上手ですね. Even if you like clearly just picked up a phrase book that morning, people will, you know, talk to you and like hype up your Japanese. I think that's great. Even from the very, very beginning, I knew it wasn't like their honest opinion of my Japanese language, but it's better than like having my like attempts being shot down. There have almost never been times where my Japanese language has been like, you know, belittled. Only at times where it clearly was my fault, where I was using Japanese language to do really important things for work or within a relationship when I made mistakes, and then I just whip out my translation and make it happen nonetheless. But no, I think everyone's really appreciative of people like taking extra time to learn the language, learn the culture, and just be like a conscious traveler within a country that is still very homogeneous when it comes to like cultural norms, you know? I hope that's helpful, but that's been my experience. I guarantee you everyone will understand that everyone says, Nihongo jozu desu ne, like your Japanese is good all the time. I guarantee you're going to hear that. Beryl, number 2 gifter, thank you for all the generosity. It means more to me than you know. You say, dark question. Here we go. Okay, answer if you want. I'm excited, but I would like to visit the, Forbid X, the Death Forest. Have you been there? I have, and great question. So yeah, I know this does touch upon some really triggering topics. I'm just going to be as just general about this topic as I can. There's a very famous forest at the base of Mount Fuji in Japan that is famous for dark things, a lot of like, you know, end of life situations. However, I've been there, although that is very much the truth. And you see signs at like the base, you see signs at the entrance of the trails at that forest saying, treasure your own life and stuff. It's such a beautiful place. I really think it's honestly so unfortunate. It's very disappointing to me that such a beautiful, calming forest has such a dark reputation. But I get it though. I get it. There's like no sound from the outside world in that forest. It is an ethereal beauty. It seems like just such a dense atmosphere in there, but it is beautiful. The mixture of like a volcanic landscape, which seems almost like a different planet within this forest, as well as like the dense vegetation is stunning. I love it. But yeah, I've been there. It's great. I would recommend checking it out. There are amazing things around that forest too, like natural ice caves where you can see a bunch of cute bats and stuff like that. But it does have a dark reputation for a reason, so go at your own risk. I know there was a famous YouTuber, what is this? Logan Paul like made a video there where he found something really awful and put it on his YouTube. So, you know, I think hopefully at some point in the future that forest will lose that reputation and just be known for as the natural, beautiful forest it is. But I get it. It's a strange place. Something about that place is like hauntingly just thick. The atmosphere is just a thick atmosphere, and I get it. And there's a very fascinating history, if not dark history, behind all that too, which I might get into in some video. But yeah, I've been there. Beryl, thanks for asking. But yeah, it's a touchy subject. For good reason. You know, Adam says, "What's on your travel plans for 2024?" West Adam, thanks for saying. Back to Japan early as February, likely enough. Back to China. I have work offers there again. I cannot wait. I love China. Um, but aside from that, nothing is set in stone. Europe is likely to. Just for family reasons, I don't want to get into too much. I do have some family situations going on in Latvia. I would love to be of an assistance of that. That's true, but also I'd love to just go because Europe sounds so much fun. But that's not set in stone. Beryl, thanks for the gifts and thanks for that very interesting question as well too. I really love questions of all sorts and kinds, as long as y'all are being cool and respectful, you know. Then JT says, hey, thank you again for saying you love the YouTube Shorts. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, the 4CPS says, what's your favorite thing you've done this year? That was one of them. Again, something that I'm making a video of that I still don't believe happened. I saw a dollar bill. I saw a dog buy food with money in China. I swear, I have it on video. I first took a video because I'm like, hey, that dog stole someone's money or something. And shame on me for thinking that it was this and blaming this dog. But this dog was running across this courtyard with like a little bit of like a bill, like Chinese yuan in his mouth. Yuan. And I saw, okay, that's interesting. I took a video of it on my phone. And then later though, we passed this group of like elderly people in the center of the park, just kind of like hanging out. I saw the dog walk into a store and then come out of that store with some sort of food in place of the money and then bring it to the old people. Super cool. I got it all on video. And then my friend there like went up and talked to it. Did you train the dog to do that? And apparently, yes, to some degree. The dog would just kind of like take food from that store over years and years, and then eventually somehow they trained it to give money to the store. But that was really cool. It's real, I swear. People will see it in one of my videos soon. I'm gonna post that video before, you know, AI picks up to a point where people are not gonna believe it again. But it happened, I promise. Anyway, that's a great question. Thank you. Refreshing the comments now. Thank you all for the patience. Let's see. Hey, 50% of the live goal is completed. Celebrate the moment, it says. Thank you all for 4.5 thousand likes. Y'all are legends and a half. Cheers for all that. Cheers for all the gifts. You guys are awesome. As you know, Callum says, on my farm, I find so many random people, all respectfully, as long as they don't make a mess. That's so cool that you allow people to camp on your property. From both perspectives, I don't see that happening in America. I would not like strangers in America camping on my family house, my family's property. I would also not want to camp on a stranger's property in America. Again, no shade to America, just that's immense respect towards Scotland. That's so cool. I love it. Heck yeah, that's great. And I'm sure there are great people out there just in the streets that would want to camp on, you know, my front yard or something. And I'm sure there are amazing front yards here to camp on. I just don't know. I don't see that happening in the States without some form of altercation. I'm glad that still happens some places in the world. That's the kind of community that I would love to be a part of. Just a general understanding that, hey, if you want to camp here, sick, go for it. Just be cool about it, you know? That makes me happy. Jen says, lol, that is great because I didn't expect that. In Germany, where I butchered the language. Oh, yeah, no, I went to France and I tried to speak French a couple times and people looked at me like I was garbage. Like I had just like personally insulted them, which I thought it was pretty okay pronunciation and such. But yeah, I've been in other countries where that's not, you know, treated the same way. Also, it's so unfortunate, but here in the States too, you know, if people don't speak English properly, people are gonna malign you. People are awful out there. They're like, if you come to America, you gotta learn the language. Where the other person, and everyone knows this, the other person is the one learning how to speak at least 2 languages. So that's wild. I love the fact that that's the mentality in Japan. I hope that's something that's adopted within the mentality of America, but you know, I'm not gonna hold my breath. Thomas says, where is the best place to see the real Japan in the countryside? So it's a hard choice because a lot of the places in the countryside, they do lean into the fact that they have a lot of traditional elements. I would say Yamanashi is great. I would say any town that still maintains the utility of a farming town will have that organic farming town culture, which is why you can go to any of the old bars and have like the farming community who has all grown up together, just joking and chilling with each other while like yelling at each other. And then, you know, if you talk to them, they'll be friendly as heck with you. I loved so much the blunt mentality and the like forward friendly nature of all the farming towns I've gone to, usually to visit friends, family, or on my way to another destination. But yeah, I would recommend Tsuru in Yamanashi. There's also more people that can speak English there too, because it is a college town to some degree. Hold on, I have to have a sip of coffee. But yeah, that's a great question. Also, for one on the ocean side, I would recommend Obama Fukui. Fukui is so cool. It's right by Gunma and kind of by Kyoto, so you can kind of have a nice little, weekend road trip along that area. Lake Biwako and Gunma is really sick. But yeah, I recommend that. Fukui. Let's see. That's what's average height there and what's tall. Good question. I forgot. I know that average height is a bit shorter in Japan than it is in the States. I'm 6'1". I'm generally taller than a lot of people, more so than I am in the States. What's average height in Japan? Let's see. 5'7" is average height. In Japan, the average height for men is around 5'7". Yeah, that sounds about right. 170 centimeters. And for women, it's around 5'2". Okay, that's shorter than I thought it was. 158 centimeters. But yeah, there you have it. Emmy shared the live. Thank you so much, Emmy, with the winky face. Mad respect as always. Much love. And then JT says, are you into snowboarding, skiing? I am. And have you tried it in Japan? I heard the snow is good there. I have not, unfortunately. It is though. It's above and beyond fantastic. Even especially like the amenities they put into making these ski resorts and snowboard resorts just an experience and a half. Not to mention like just the natural splendor of these huge mountain ranges, especially in Gunma and Hokkaido. So fantastic. This is all secondhand information. I was going to go last year. I planned the whole trip for my friends and everything. I was even going to be the one to rent the car because I had a driver's license and insurance, but I got sick. And that was just, on the end of the pandemic. So I just stayed home instead while I watched my friends' Instagram stories of them snowboarding by Gunma. So yeah, check out resorts around Gunma. There are like circles of multiple resorts around that area, especially also in Hokkaido. And a lot of them are comparable. You just got to find the ones with like the best resorts and everything like that. A lot of the snowboard resorts will have also like natural hot springs where you can go and chill after a long day of like intense snowboarding and skiing. So that's what I got to say about that, JT. I hope you get the chance to do so soon. And Hokkaido is a bit of a trip. It's a bit of a mission, especially if you're coming from Kansai or Tokyo. Like that's a bit beyond a weekend trip. I would recommend at least hopefully spending like 4 to 5 days around Sapporo, enjoying some of the best seafood. If Taiwala Travels is still in the chat, they were in Hokkaido not but a week ago, I believe. So that's what I got to say about that. Thomas says, sorry about that. I need to get another tripod for my phone. Let's see. You recommend going to Tokyo in autumn, mid-September? Yeah, absolutely. Mid-September, I'm going to say for my experience, it's still going to be hot. That still has the vibe of late summer, I'd say, until the beginning of October. But yeah, that's a great time. It's just going to be to the point where it's not as hot and humid as it was just a week before. You're not going to see like the changing of the leaves like you will just 1 month later. Like October, November, they have the fall leaves changing colors and everything. It is stunning. Again, that spectrum of yellows, reds, oranges, and all that stuff is mind-blowing. What is it? Mid-September is going to be more like not too hot, not too cold. So really perfect weather, but not as many of the summer events, like not as many firework festivals as there is in July and August, and not really as many fall events, but really chill. I think that's when a lot of people are getting back into school and work. But yeah, it's really chill as far as the like non-crowded trips go, and as far as like not being too cold or too hot. What is the word for that? The temperature. Whoa there. All right. Woo, the temperature. Yeah, that's great. But as far as I remember, I don't remember as many like wild, fun national events in September. I may be mistaken though. Callum says, I'm going to go to bed. Wes, take care. See you in the next live. Back at you, Callum. Cheers. Thank you for dropping by and rest well. Thomas says, where is the best place to see? Oh, I got that one. Valen says, thanks for your content. Helped me so much on my Japan trip. That means so much to me. That makes me wild happy. Good looking out. I'm so excited about that. Then Joshu says, Josh, maybe. How tall are you and how tall are you and are you tall in Japan? Yeah, I'm 6'1", 184.5 centimeters. I forgot exactly what it was. But yeah, I'm generally taller. Again, I think you just asked, and it was 5'7" is the general height for people in Japan. I'm a bit taller than usual in Japan compared to how I'm in California. All right, refreshing the comments now. Thanks all for the patience too. Again, if I miss someone's comment or question, don't hesitate to ask twice. I am gonna have to head out in a moment just to go about my day and stuff. But let's see. Jen says I gotta go work out. Hey, you and me both, my friend. Thanks for the info and entertainment. Looking forward to your new videos. Bye. Thank you so much. Cheers. New videos will be coming daily, except possibly on the weekdays. Sorry, weekends. But yeah, it means a ton to me. Then Joshua says, what's tall in Japan and what's the average height? I did answer that twice. I hope you heard me, but I will answer it one more time. From Google, it is 5 feet 7 inches is the average height for men, and 5 foot 2 inches average height for women. That sounds about right. Although usually I feel like most girls are a bit taller from my experience. But who knows, you know? Thomas says, thank you for the answer. You got it, boss. That's what I'm here for. And then I got it. You recommend going to Tokyo in autumn, mid-September. I do, but I don't know off the top of my head, you know, like events or stuff like I do in summer. Like again, there should be still some firework festivals, and maybe if you go up north, there should be some cool changing of the leaves also. Thomas says, where is the best place to see? Oh, I got that one. The real Japan in the countryside. Old houses and landscapes. I hope you heard me recommend Fukui if you're in Kansai. Fukui is also seaside, which is stunning. And that's the Sea of Japan. So you'll see like the sun setting over the Sea of Japan, which I love, love, love. But also if you're close to Tokyo, Yamanashi, just like 45 minutes, an hour or so trip from most places in Tokyo. Yeah, Sudo Bunka Daigaku, that's around the place, the station I went to. I recommend Sudo and Yamanashi. Anywhere in Yamanashi is going to have a lot of that, but I love both those places. Yamanashi will be a bit more tourist oriented, so they have even older houses and landscapes that have been like maintained by the government to like keep up all the old traditional landscapes. So that's cool. If that is a little bit more manufactured than you would like, then Fukui, check out Fukui. It's great. There are other places also. On like the outskirts of Kyoto, all that. There's a lot of that around. And like I said, that stuff won't be around forever because of the changing just social, just the demographic of where people are living so much within the density of the metropolis areas compared to the countryside. Bruh says, any recommendations for men's jewelry related things? Looking for a nice souvenir. Good question. I do recommend one place called Hare. That's going to be in Harajuku and Kyoto. I don't know much aside from that. I do know that from my experience, there's like less super expensive stuff there. It's good price, but also it's not like cheap stuff. It's real silver. They have 18 karat gold, which is pretty solid. And but it's not going to be like the designer names. That's going to be like, you know, an extra couple $100 just because it's the brand. Kitsune Austin, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Says, what's up, Wes? I was surprised when I saw you went live on Twitch. That is correct. Cheers. I will be live on Twitch almost maybe daily if I'm going live on TikTok as well. It's just been a blessing to be able to reach people here too. And I also love the way that I can control more of the cinematics on Twitch and YouTube. So that's a lot of fun for me. Thank you, by the way, for dropping by and saying hi here. But bro, I hope that's helpful. And again, jewelry is a phenomenal souvenir. Encourage your viewers to share your live and invite more friends, it says here. So yes, do that if you want to, but actually don't, because I gotta head out in a second. But mad love, I'll answer any questions and comments I can before I dip. Cosplay Hero says, what are some good places to take photos in Kyoto, Osaka, Tokyo? Let me drop you a comment. Let me drop you a couple in both spots, a couple in all spots, because I love all of them. Whoa, I gotta slow down and take a drink before I start just mumbling out some words that don't mean anything. Give me a hot second. So Kyoto, again, Kawaramachi, stunning riverside gift. I would just walk up inside the riverside of Kawaramachi. They have like old world like stone structures in the water that if it's lower tide, you can walk onto them. It's really cool. You can see some of those on my Instagram. At the same time, I would say Gion is also, if you want to take photos where people think you could literally be like 200 years in the past, in like samurai Japan, samurai era Japan, like the Edo period and stuff like that. That'd be Gion. That's a really cool place. They also have the mountains of Gion, like Mount Inoue? I forgot the name of the mountains actually, but there's a mountain with a huge kanji written on it. Mount Daimon. That's a really cool hiking place. It also has a great view of the city. I love those spots. One final one, which you don't expect in Kyoto, but if you wanna just like an interior that looks like it's out of the future, Kyoto Station is that place. Kyoto Station has architecture from 2075. It has architecture from space. It has architecture where you can take like so many cool portraits that have like that sort of almost brutalist industrial atmosphere. Then to Osaka, I recommend Grand Front Osaka. That place was made for photography, literally. That's how they promote some of their areas. And then I would recommend Namba Osaka for like a very rarely grimy yet really cool image of Japan. Check out Amemura. I love it there. Finally, Tokyo. Here's where the list goes on, but ironically, I am less knowledgeable about photography areas here because I usually just shoot in studios. But Amoide Yokucho is really cool. They changed the dressings of this area, which is like a vintage little narrow alleyway, every season. So like springtime, you'll have like some little cherry blossoms on the top, and then fall time, you'll have fall leaves. Amoide Yokucho also has great ramen. I recommend that. Let's throw you one more in Tokyo. Odaiba, another man-made island. I know if Remy was here, Remy would always bring up Odaiba. But that is a place that it looks like also it's in the future. They also have a full life-size giant Gundam if you like anime stuff there. Pretty cool. One last one would be Ikebukuro. Ikebukuro, in front of the Animate building, they have people that cosplay almost every weekend. So that's what I got for you there. That was a long-winded explanation. I hope it's helpful. And let's see what else we got here. I gotta go in a second. James says, top 3 favorite places in Tokyo. There we go. Odaiba's there. We just talked about Odaiba. Odaiba used to have an a car museum, which is so cool, especially with their experimental car types. That shut down during the pandemic, I believe. But also Odaiba just feels like it's the cleanest man-made future island, like futuristic, cool vibe, affordable place in the world. It's a great vibe. It's also a rare place in Tokyo where we have a great view of just the ocean, the sea. It's a refreshing place. I love it. Another place I love in Tokyo, Asakusa. There's a place called Hoppy Street on Asakusa. It is a strangely uncrowded, like vintage kind of retro vibe, like party street that no one really goes to because Asakusa is known for all its temples and stuff, which is great, and that is there, but no one really goes there for like a night out. But Hoppy Street has that night out with very affordable, charming, and kind of like welcoming little izakayas and bars. That's really cool. Hoppy Street in Asakusa. One final place I love in Tokyo. Again, let's go with Ikebukuro. I think Ikebukuro is one of the most underrated stations in all of Tokyo. Really cool shopping, especially if you like pop culture stuff. I would say it has almost as much as Akihabara, but it's also less tourist oriented, and it has also a cool nightlife scene. So that's what I got for you, James. That's a good question. I'm actually gonna screenshot that and maybe make a video about it. So I like that. Peter says, Ohayo gozaimasu. Ohayo ne, koku ni kite arigatou. Koku ne, nanka, TikTok で日本語の練習できたら超いつも嬉しいだから、ここで日本語の会話したかったら言ってくださいね. I just said, so they said good morning. I said good morning. I said, I always love to do Japanese practice here, so let me know if you want to chat. I'm stoked you came. Then they said, Japan vibes, let's go. Sup from USA. Cheers, Peter. That's fantastic. Mad love, I'm glad you dropped by just before I had to dip out. Anyway, that makes me wild happy, and I'm always here to practice. Daniel says, what's up, Wes? Cheers, I'm glad you are here. I'm going live more early than I usually do. I do have to head out now to go get some stuff done and begin editing a video for tomorrow. However, for everyone still here, if y'all want to go make a comment on my last video, it helps me with the algorithm more than you might expect. And I do kind of like source a lot of the topics of my videos based on the comments. Cheers. Thanks everyone for dropping by. James says, cool, thanks. You got it, James. And thank you everyone for interacting with my content. I'll be going live around tomorrow at the same time, depending on how this live's analytics tell me how many people of my followers I reached. But if not, I at least will be going live at some point tomorrow. Goodbye. See you all. Everyone also on my other chats. Peace. I will be dropping out, but I will also maybe be streaming some editing or some games